all you've been listening to today?
Yeah, another educational session going on. But the one thing that has bothered me for the last 10 days, probably even more than 10 days, was the subject of Jay Jones that has been mentioned during the chat. And I thought it was really interesting as I listened to comments. Peggy, Lauren, Fennell, and now me, four Black women, view what happened in a very different way than those of you who are not Black, which tells me a lot about why your program is so important.
Hmm.
Because I believe you can take from this mini discussion the disparity about what white people think about something and Black people think about something, because our initial beginnings are so diverse and so, well, it's not just diverse, it's just so different how
Disparate.
we grow up and what we've learned and what we think about it. For Jay Jones, if a person can live to be in his 30s, and the only negative thing that can come from that is this thing that he wrote or he said some few years ago. He's
Hmm.
shooting from the mouth as opposed to actually physically harming individuals. If people can take that and run with it, and the rest of us sit still and say absolutely nothing about it, we should be saying that this guy is a saint. He's only done one thing that is should be apologized for. And so I I don't live in Virginia, but I think I would have been out on a street corner like the gentleman with the beard holding a sign. Here, vote for the saint who has done only one thing wrong in some 30 odd years. I Democrats, we shoot ourselves in the head. I'm going to use his word, in the head, all of the time. We don't defend a person because he is not perfect or she is not perfect. And until we realize that, we're going to lose. Jay Jones might lose
Because of this.
because he's the better person for the job because we walked all over him.
Mhm.
So,
I'm glad we're talking about this, and this is where we're supposed to be able to engage and have different ideas and not be afraid to say what you think, which I think can be helpful to all of us as we sort of go through our paths. But what you just said, Catherine, was really it really struck me. I remember listening to a call, and Penny will appreciate this, on Red, Wine, and Blue, and it had a bunch of women on it talking. It was women who were Republicans who are now Democrats, but it was a mixture of women. And what one of the women said that I couldn't get myself past was she said, "Well, even now, I couldn't make myself vote for Hillary Clinton." And I
Mm,
just wanted to run through the
yeah,
post to say, oh my God, even at this, where we are now, she's
yeah,
still saying she couldn't vote for Hillary Clinton. And I just thought that that was like, oh my
right.
God, what is wrong? And so we do get to these notions where these people can't pull themselves. I mean, no matter what, they can't pull themselves to vote. And I'm going to say this, and I know it's going to be really, it's hard and it's graphic, but I think about, and I did write about this,
Mm,
the little children in really Sahara Africa and places that are really bombarded with war and famine. And there's a journalist there who committed suicide after he took a picture. And the picture that he took was of a little black child who was dying. And then there were buzzards waiting around so that they would be able to pick the carcass. And so when I think about them not wanting to send peanut butter to some of these places that are going to keep people alive, and you want to talk to me about a 3-year-old text that happened that you've taken way out of context, and we
yeah,
we, we need to fight that. And that's what I'm talking about in terms of learning how to fight and put in their faces the horrible people that they are and the harm that they cause to not only Virginians but to this country. And I think we also have to also unravel who this country is. And so before I get to that, I just want to point out an important fact that Lincoln won. He won against slavery with 39.9% of the vote. And that only happened because there was two other candidates who caused the vote to be broken three ways. And that says something about the root of this country in terms about how we think about people who are different than our own. And I never, ever want to forget that. I was naive in that thinking that there are all of these really good people. The MAGA people who are still MAGA are horrible, horrible people. And I want to remind people that it is okay to say that. And I'm never going to take it back until they show me something different. But they're terrible, terrible, mean, gutless people. And until they stand up and say, oh, I'm not for that, or they're still going to have the flags or the bumper stickers, I have nothing kind for them. But people who want to say, you know what, I made a mistake in that vote, I will open my heart, my arms, my everything and say, let's do this together. Because this isn't two parties that are divided. One side, the Republican Party that does not exist right now, is a different animal and they're mean and destructive. So when we start to say that there's just two different ideas, it's not two different ideas.
Oh,
We all understand ethics and we all understand right and wrong. And where
yes.
they are right now is on the wrong side of history. And if people want to stay on that side, then we got to take a good look at who we are holding up and who we're trying to work with as partners. Now, I said my piece on that. But
Just
what I
say
want
your
to say about Thomas Jefferson, he said, a little rebellion is a good thing. And he says that because it keeps a sound, healthy government. And so, to all men and especially women, I'm going to quote Susan B. Anthony because we do know that women at the end of the day turn these elections. So, it will be up to men, yes. But the big voters who will turn this election for Jay and will turn it for Abigail to make sure that we win big are women. They rule. And we just need to make sure that we're talking to them. But she said, I shall earnestly and persistently continue to urge all women to practice the recognition of the old revolutionary maxim, resistance to tyranny is obedience to God. So we got some work to do over the next 20 days.
with that, I'm just going to dance us out and just say to everybody, it's good. It's good to keep talking. As we say, keep talking and keep chalking. We'll see you guys next week. And I can't wait for this weekend.
Got the parents all going through hell, 'cause the guns keep flying off the shelf.